The wedding of Victoria, Crown Princess of Sweden, and Daniel Westling took place on 19 June 2010 in Stockholm Cathedral. It has been described as Europe's biggest royal wedding since the Prince of Wales married Lady Diana Spencer in 1981. Westling thereby acquired Victoria's ducal title, becoming a Swedish prince and Duke of Västergötland. In time for the wedding, a joint-in monogram of their initials was created. Background: Victoria is the eldest child of King Carl XVI Gustaf and Queen Sylvia. As the firstborn of the family, she was designated heir apparent in 1979, ahead of her younger brother. Westling was Victoria's personal trainer at Master Training. In July 2002, Victoria and Westling were pictured kissing for the first time at a birthday party for Caroline Kruger, a close friend of Victoria's. Westling and Victoria's engagement was announced on 24 February 2009. The wedding was set to take place in Stockholm Cathedral on 19 June 2010, the 34th anniversary of her parents' marriage and a traditional wedding date of the Swedish royal family. The chosen year 2010 also marks the 200th year since Jean-Baptiste Jules Bernadotte, from whom the royal house of Sweden descends, became heir presumptive to the Swedish throne. Preparations and finances. On 17 September 2009, the Cathedral Parish of Stockholm announced that there would be a restoration of Stockholm Cathedral during the period January to April 2010, and costing 12.4 million Swedish krona. The wedding itself cost about 20 million krona, which was paid half by the Swedish royal family and half by the Swedish government from tax money. This was criticized by some Swedish citizens. Celebrations. On 24 November 2009, it was decided that the days between the Swedish National Day on June 6 and the wedding date on 19 June would be Love Stockholm 2010 days, with festivities for residents and visitors such as music, art, culture, food, design, and history. The city of Stockholm had hoped for sponsor deals to pay for the arrangements. On 18 June, the Parliament of Sweden honored the couple with a gala performance at Stockholm Concert Hall. Performers at the gala included the Royal Stockholm Philharmonic Orchestra, Melina Öhrman, Helen Sjöholm, and Peter Jöback. The famous Swedish band Roxette was reunited on stage, and they performed their hit song, The Look. Insignia at the wedding. On the morning of the wedding, the crown of Sweden's heir apparent and Prince Wilhelm's crown was removed from the showcases in the treasury at the Royal Palace of Stockholm. They were placed on each side of the altar in the cathedral. The crowns are part of a tradition. A crown is used in association with the person the occasion is about. Princess Sofia Albertina's crown is also associated with Victoria, as it was used at her christening. Princess Sofia Albertina's crown was later used at the wedding of Prince Carl Philip. Wedding service. The wedding service began at 15:30 local time in Stockholm Cathedral, with around 1,100 guests present. The music in the ceremony was headed by Gustaf Sjökvist, court organist and organist for the Cathedral Parish of Stockholm. He was also in charge of the music during the wedding of Victoria's parents in 1976. The service was conducted by Anders Wedrud, Archbishop of Uppsala. He was assisted by Lars-Göran Lonnemark, Royal Court Chief Chaplain, and Dr. Antje Jacqueline, Bishop of Lund. The Great Marriage Litany was sung by Ake Bonnier, Dean of the Cathedral and Royal Court Chaplain. Victoria's dress was by Swedish designer Per Engskeden. The Duchess' satin white dress was with a 5-meter-long train. She wore the Swedish cameo tiara, the same diadem that her mother, Queen Sylvia, and her paternal aunts wore when they married. The first piece of music that was played was written by Karen Reinkovist especially for the couple as a gift from the Royal Swedish Academy of Music. Victoria walked down the aisle with her father, who then handed her over to Daniel. The wedding couple then stood in front of the Archbishop, who told them about the importance of supporting each other in a marriage. After Victoria and Daniel were pronounced husband and wife, Swedish singers Agnes Carlsson and Björn Skifs finished the ceremony with the song "When You Tell the World You're Mine," written for the couple. Victoria and Daniel walked under crossed swords after stepping out of the cathedral. Debate about handing over the bride. The couple wanted the king to lead the crown princess to the altar and then hand her over to the groom. This created a public debate in Sweden, as it would have been contrary to the established customs of the Church of Sweden, where bride and groom walk up to the altar together. Critics among the clergy held that the symbolism in handing over the bride from father to groom reflects reactionary societal norms, as if an unmarried woman is the property of her father and is about to turn into the proprietary ownership of the groom. The royal court defended the handing over with the statement that the king conveys the heir to the throne and hands her over to a man who has been accepted. In the end, a compromise was reached, with the king handing over the crown princess to her groom before they reached the altar. Carriage procession. A carriage procession followed the ceremony, in which the wedding couple was transported through the streets of Stockholm. On the way they passed by 20 musical bands, 19 of which were military. Victoria and Daniel then proceeded in a royal barge over Stockholm's waters, the same barge that was used by Victoria's parents, King Carl XVI Gustaf and Queen Sylvia, during the wedding in 1976. 500,000 people are estimated to have gathered to watch the procession, which was nearly 7 kilometers long. 18 fighter jets flew across the sky as the barge approached its landing place at the Royal Palace, where the wedding banquet was later held. The wedding of Victoria and Daniel was the biggest event that has ever been covered on television in Stockholm, according to Sveriges Television. Guest list. Notable guests include the bride's paternal family, the king and queen, the bride's parents, Prince Carl Philip, Duke of Värmland, the bride's brother, Princess Madeleine, Duchesses of Hälsingland and Gästrikland, the bride's sister, Princess Margaretha, Mrs. Ambler, the bride's aunt, James Ambler and Ursula Ambler, Edward Ambler and Helen Ambler, Princess Birgitta of Sweden and Prince Johann Georg of Hohenzollern, the bride's aunt and uncle Prince Carl Christian of Hohenzollern and Princess Nicole of Hohenzollern, the bride's cousin and his wife, Desiree von Bohlen und Halbach and Ekberg von Bohlen und Halbach, the bride's cousin and her husband, Prince Hubertus of Hohenzollern and Princess Ute Maria of Hohenzollern, the bride's cousin and his wife, Princess Desiree, Baroness Ilfverschild and Baron Niklas Ilfverschild, the bride's aunt and uncle Baron Karl Ilfverschild and Baroness Maria Ilfverschild, the bride's cousin and his wife, Baroness Christina Louise de Geer and Baron Hans de Geer, the bride's cousin and her husband, Baroness Elin Ilfverschild, the bride's cousin, Princess Christina, Mrs. Magnusson and Mr. Tord Magnusson, the bride's aunt and uncle Gustaf Magnusson and Natalie Ellis, the bride's cousin and his partner, Oscar Magnusson and Emma Ledant, the bride's cousin and his partner Victor Magnusson and Frida Bergström, the bride's cousin and his partner, Countess Marianne Bernadotte of Wisborg, the bride's grand-aunt Count Michael and Countess Christine Bernadotte of Wisborg, Countess Kajsa Bernadotte of Wisborg, Count Carl Johann and Countess Gunilla Bernadotte of Wisborg, the bride's granduncle and grandaunt, Countess Bettina Bernadotte of Wisborg and Philip Haug, the bride's second cousin once removed, and her husband, Count Bjorn and Countess Sandra Bernadotte of Wisborg, the bride's second cousin once removed, and his wife, Madeleine Coguavianas, the bride's second cousin twice removed, Count Bertil Bernadotte of Wisborg and Countess Jill Bernadotte of Wisborg, the bride's second cousin twice removed, and his wife, Dagmar von Arben, the bride's second cousin twice removed. The bride's maternal family, Ralph de Toledo Summerlath and Charlotte de Toledo Summerlath. The bride's uncle and aunt, Carmita Summerlath Bordenet and Pierre Bordenet. The bride's cousin and her husband, Thibaut Radix de Chenevia. The bride's cousin, once removed, Claure Radix de Chenevia. The bride's cousin, once removed, Thomas de Toledo Summerlath and Musbatina Ozems. The bride's cousin and his partner, Suzanne de Toledo Summerlath Tim de Toledo Summerlath. The bride's cousin, once removed, Philip de Toledo Summerlath. The bride's cousin, once removed, Julia de Toledo Summerlath. Bridesmaid. The bride's cousin, once removed, Walther Summerlath and Ingrid Summerlath. The bride's uncle and aunt, Sophie Pihut Summerlath. The bride's cousin, Patrick Summerlath and Malene Luengard. The bride's cousin and his partner, Leopold Lundane Summerlath Pageboy. The bride's cousin, once removed, Camilla Lundane. The bride's cousin, ex-wife, Helena Christina Summerlath. The bride's cousin, Vivian Nadine Summerlath. Bridesmaid. The bride's cousin, Carlos Augusto de Toledo Ferreira and Senhora Ana Luisa de Toledo Ferreira. Senhora Maria Virginia Braga Alirdi and Exmo Senhor Eduardo Longo. Senhor Luis Machado de Melo and Senhora Maria Fernanda Machado de Melo. Ex-Mar Senhora Vera Quagliato. Senhor Carlos M. Quagliato. Senhor Pedro Ferreira. The groom's family, Ola Westling and E.W.A. Westling. The groom's parents, Anna Westling Blom. The groom's sister and Mikael Soderstrom Hedvig Blom. Bridesmaid, the groom's niece, Vera Blom. Bridesmaid, the groom's niece. Reigning royalty, Belgique, the King and Queen of the Belgians, the Duke and Duchess of Brabant, Princess Astrid and Prince Lorenz of Belgium, Prince Laurent and Princess Claire of Belgium. Denmark, the Queen and Prince Consort of Denmark, the Crown Prince and Crown Princess of Denmark, Prince Christian of Denmark. Japan, the Crown Prince of Japan. Jordan, the King and Queen of Jordan, Princess Iman of Jordan, Prince Ali bin al-Hussein and Princess Rim bin al-Hussein of Jordan, Prince Hassan bin Talal and Princess Sarwat el-Hassan, Prince Rashid bin al-Hassan of Jordan, Princess Noor bin Asem of Jordan. Liechtenstein, the hereditary prince and hereditary princess of Liechtenstein. Luxembourg, the Grand Duke and Grand Duchess of Luxembourg, the hereditary Grand Duke of Luxembourg, Prince Felix of Luxembourg. Monaco, the Prince of Monaco and Charlene Wittstock. The Netherlands, the Queen of the Netherlands, the Prince of Orange and Princess Maxima of the Netherlands, Princess Catharina Amalia of the Netherlands, Prince Constantine and Princess Laurentian of the Netherlands, Prince Friso and Princess Mabel of Orange Nassau. Norway, the King and Queen of Norway, the Crown Prince and Crown Princess of Norway, Princess Ingrid Alexandra of Norway, Princess Martha Louise of Norway, and Ari Ben. Spain, the Queen of Spain, the Prince and Princess of Asturias, the Duchess of Lugo, the Duchess and Duke of Palma de Mallorca. The United Kingdom, the Earl and Countess of Wessex. Republican heads of state, the President of Ireland and Sabina Coyne. The President of Finland and Dr. Pentti Arajavi. The President of Iceland and Dorit Musaiev. Non-reigning royalty: Bavaria, Prince Manuel and Princess Anna of Bavaria. Bulgaria, King Simeon II and Queen Margarita of the Bulgarians. Prince Kirill, Prince of Preslav and Princess of Preslav. Greece, King Constantine II and Queen Anne-Marie of the Hellenes. Princess Alexia of Greece and Denmark. Mrs. Morales and Carlos Morales Quintana, Prince Nicholas of Greece and Denmark and Miss Tatiana Blatnik, Prince Philippos of Greece and Denmark. Romania, Crown Princess Margarita and Prince Radu of Romania. Saxe-Coburg and Gotha, Hereditary Prince Hubertus and Hereditary Princess Kelly of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. Wittgenstein-Berleburg, Prince Richard and Princess Benedicte of Denmark. Hereditary Prince Gustav of Wittgenstein-Berleburg and Miss Karina Axelsson, Princess Alexandra of Wittgenstein-Berleburg and Count Jefferson von Farlund-Klein-Elguth, Princess Natalie of Wittgenstein-Berleburg and Alexander Johansson. Yugoslavia, Crown Prince Alexander and Crown Princess Catherine of Yugoslavia. Wedding banquet. The wedding banquet was held on the night of the wedding day in the Hall of State at the Royal Palace of Stockholm, Sweden's finest ceremonial hall. The Hall of State was renovated for the occasion. 98 guests of the nearly 600 invited guests were accommodated in the main table. Pink and white flowers were strewn over the table decorations, which included silver candelabra and silver bowls. On the seats of honor were sitting the wedding couple, the parents King Carl Gustaf and Queen Sylvia and Mr. and Mrs. Westling, Victoria's godparents Ralph de Toledo Sommerlath, Princess Desiree, Baroness Silverschiold, the Queen of the Netherlands and the King of Norway, as well as Count Carl Johan Bernadotte of Wisborg, the King's uncle, Princess Margaretha, Mrs. Ambler, the King's eldest sister, the Queen of Denmark, the King of the Belgians, Tarja Halonen, the President of Finland, and Anders Wedrip, the Archbishop of Uppsala. Cake. The cake was an 11-tiered cake made of organic ingredients. The sides of the cake were decorated with 4-leaf clovers, symbolizing the crowned princely couple and the wedding. Each layer of the cake was topped with several chocolate wafers with the royal couple's monogram in caramel. The top layer had a large version of the crowned princely couple's monogram is reproduced in cast caramel. The crowned princely couple's wedding cake was a gift from the Swedish Association of Bakers and Confectioners. Titles for Daniel Westling. Sweden has only practiced absolute cognatic primogeniture since 1980. This means that Victoria is the first female heir apparent to marry. Westling became the first man of the people to obtain a new title or rank as the spouse of a Swedish princess since the Middle Ages. All previous princes have been born to royal parents of Swedish origin or have been foreign dukes that have married Swedish princesses. As a result, questions arose as to how Westling would be known after the wedding. The Swedish royal court first announced on the 20th of February 2009 that upon his marriage to Crown Princess Victoria, who is Duchess of Västergötland, Westling would receive the titles of Prince Daniel and Duke of Västergötland. It was further announced in May 2010 by the Swedish royal court that Westling will be granted the style His Royal Highness upon his marriage to Crown Princess Victoria. He will thus be known as Prince Daniel, Duke of Västergötland. The last part of his title corresponds in form to the style used by other Swedish princes, including Victoria's younger brother Prince Carl Philip, Duke of Värmland, i.e. Prince plus given name plus Duke of Swedish province. The novelty here is that Westling would be using his wife's ducal title, something new for men in Sweden. Sweden discontinued in the 17th century the grant of provinces as territorial appanages to royal princes which, as dukes thereof, they had governed semi-autonomously. Since then, these provincial dukedoms exist in the royal family only nominally, but each prince or princess traditionally maintains a special public connection to one. The sons of Swedish kings have held the princely title as a rank of nobility of Hessen-Stein, as a courtesy title for an ex-dynast Oscar Bernadotte, and, most often, as a royal dynast.